Duel Links has a huge new update, and with it are a bunch of new powerful cards. Hello, I hope you are having a perfectly balanced day. Today's video will be about the new deck, Eldlich. I will show you a deck profile, followed by gameplay. To see more videos for the TCG, Duel Links and Master Duel, consider pressing the big red button and leaving a comment down below. But with no further ado, enjoy! If you have access to 2 copies of Swamp Deity, you can do some cool stuff with Beatrice using the zombie engine, as this card is a level 6. But most people watching this, and myself, do not have 2 copies of Swamp Deity because it is only in the selection box. So instead, I'm showing you a build focused around Gallant Granite, a card that you literally cannot obtain right now. Hopefully there'll be a ticket soon. So let's take a look at the new skill first, Sanctuary of the King's Treasures. This skill does a lot, and it's a lot of good stuff. At the beginning of your first turn, this skill spawns Temple of the Kings, which is by itself very good, and is extremely good with the second effect of the skill. If you control a continuous trap, discard a card to bounce at least 1 continuous spell or trap to set 2 trap monsters from deck, and they can be summoned this turn. This is insane, and what we are doing with this is a few different things, which we will get to in a moment, and the third part of the skill says from turn 2 onwards, add a level 10 monster from your deck to your hand. This can add Eldlich, or it can just add Sphere Mode and tribute off their entire field. If they only have 1 or 2 monsters, you can just search a Kaiju instead. This makes the skill extremely good as a toolbox in addition to being a combo starter. The skill can also search Heavenly Prison, but that isn't how we are choosing to search the card. We are using the second part of the skill to set up 2 Swamp Mirror. In some combos, you bounce back the Temple to free up spell trap space. However, due to the restriction of the skill, if you bounce back Temple this way, you cannot activate it again the same turn, which most variants will not care about, as why would you need to do that? You don't need Temple on their turn. Well, with my build here, we are doing something devious turn 1, by keeping Temple around for their turn. We are using the 2 Swamp Mirror we pull with the skill to summon Granite, and then Granite searches for Heavenly Prison. When we summon Heavenly Prison, we can set any trap from the deck, and because of Temple, we activate it immediately. In short, what our combo does is search any floodgate you want. If you see a Despia or Chimera skill, you can set up non-fusion area before it even gets to their first standby phase. If their skill has to reveal a card, you can set Eye of Truth and flip it up immediately, because they cannot reveal a card if their entire hand is already revealed. This is pretty good because going first, we floodgate them out of playing, and going second, we can just search one of these. There is more to this deck though. As you will see, I'm playing some Synchro monsters and some Link monsters. IP you might not have, as currently it is only from a selection box, but it's not too important. We have a train engine for OTKs, as both Eldlich and Prison are level 10. You also don't need 3 Eldlich, 2 is fine because you don't want to draw too many non-traps. Pleiades is for when we overlay Conquistador and Tokero, and the only rank 4 we play is Granite, but you can also play Evolzar, Dolka, or Lagia, since you can make Swamp Mirror become a dinosaur. Dolka in particular is really good, but it doesn't come up too much when you have Granite into Prison. You can also play Nibiru to go Granite into Nibiru, but Nibiru is another card that isn't a trap, and we don't want to draw too many cards that aren't traps. This is pretty much trap card of the deck. We play 3 Synchros because we also play Shape Sister, a level 2 tuner trap monster. This allows for cool plays into level 7 Synchros going second, and level 10 Synchros going first, as this card is level 8. If you don't have Granite, I think you want to try and focus on this card turn 1 or Pleiades. And for engine 1-offs, we have Awakening and 1 of the counter trap. Sometimes, if there's no floodgate for a particular matchup, you can just go Prison, set this from deck instead. When you go first, not every deck will give itself away at the start of the duel, as not every skill activates immediately, and not every character is a giveaway of a certain deck. So in that case, you would not shotgun the Prism, and hold it later to set a card like the Counter Trap or IDP, as doing this in the middle of a turn and protecting your set back row for longer is still really good. If you don't have free IDP, this can just be any strong trap like Lost Wind or Overroot. IDP, I just think, is the strongest at the moment. Be careful though, as you cannot activate it on most monsters after you use Scarlet, as this card locks you into zombies. You can play more Floodgates, like Light Imprisoning Mirror, for Blue Eyes, but you don't need to. This deck is a very particular playstyle. Some games you just auto-win with Floodgates, but to win the grindier games demands the technical skills of a strong control player. Enjoy the gameplay. The replays today are recorded offline, but you can find me stream live on Twitch on Tuesdays at 2 PM EST. So given the not very interactive nature of this deck, the games are a bit short sometimes, so therefore there are going to be a few more replays in today's video compared to most videos. This is going first and demonstrating the searching a floodgate combo. And in these sort of hands you can also get to a immediate counter trap as well to negate their answer to your floodgate, which is pretty strong. Let's go up into Granite. I made them Dinosaur to prove that you can make Dolkit if you want to there. Set a trap, and then set pass. In the draw phase, we know we are playing Despia because of the skill activating at the start of a duel. So we go draw phase, activate this. They chain MST. So what you're meant to do, if you know what I'm trying to do here, is go MST on Temple. It won't matter if you have no other MST because I have a negate, but they did not know to do that, and also they didn't know that this protects well, so they just hit this, which does nothing. But it makes no difference, they would need another MST to stop this. And there we go, we searched Night Vision area, they cannot play the game, they can't do anything, so they immediately concede. Going to lead with the Swamp. Grab the Eldlich to discard. It's normally the ideal discard, but discarding any Eldlich card is a good pitch for the skill normally. Skill into Swamp and Guardian. And this is to kind of showcase the same sort of setup, the same turn 1 but with a IP as well. Go send, summon, and dump a Hakero, make IP. So now, what we can do at any point in their turn is go activate a trap, summon, get a pop from the trap, and do prison. So this is a bit more ideal to do if you do not know what they are playing, because, for example, if you're playing blindly, you won't know what Floodgate to do in the draw phase, so you kind of let them play for a bit, let them play out their turn, and halfway through their turn, you can just set any trap from deck with prison, and then activate it in the same turn. So here we go, pop Dark, set Night Vision area. As we know, they already have the Thundra Fusion in the hand. Okay, chain Eclipse. I chain IP just to clear up a monster zone to use the Eldlich. Go Godsark into Raw into Hawk. Now, non-fusion area will not prevent the contact fuse of Colossus, but it will prevent the Thunder Fusion in the hand. And at this point, we are way too far ahead in card advantage, because our follow-up is way too good. So a lot of the time, even if the Floodgate you search doesn't stop them entirely from playing the game, it will at least make it so that they can't kill you, and if they can't kill you, then you win on the following turn. Yeah, they scoop as they see the train line with our 2 level 10s. Going first here against Blue Eyes. And you can play Light Mirror for this matchup, but I don't think you need to. Like, if you set up the Synchro 10, the Cheng Ying, and a protected Eldlich in defense, then that is already quite a fortified turn 1 against Blue Eyes. One destruction protected card isn't that good against Blue Eyes. Having 2 cards which are protected from destruction is very good against Blue Eyes. And we have the Heavenly Prison behind it as well. So they set a Majesty from the deck, which is good, but because we have Heavenly Prison in the hand revealed, currently they can only destroy the temple, because these can't be destroyed, and these 2 are protected. So they reveal 3 Blue Eyes, but only 1 card here can be popped. Blue Eyes into ult, then once again, protection goes pretty hard here. They play into the Cheng Ying. They chain summon Chaos Max, but it gets banished anyway. I didn't banish the other trap from a graveyard because I know normally they only play 1 of this one. Set Sanguine into Eldlich, and then pass turn, and then, yeah, pretty much game over. Eldlich going first is extremely strong. Even when you don't floodgate them, having just a strong defense with Cheng Ying and back row is pretty good into most matchups. So going first for the 4th and final time to show you how we get to the combo once more. And because we see a skill proc at the start, we know what they are playing. We see it is Chimera Illusions, a fusion deck, and therefore we can just go for our non-fusion area. It was definitely a better line here because I go for IP, but I end on no card in hand for Unicorn. But it's still pretty good, right? Like, not many Chimera decks play a clean out to non-fusion area, so phase activates. They do have Cosmic Cyclone, and what you're meant to do here is chain it onto the temple, but not everyone is aware of that. So surprise factor is definitely quite good with this. People aren't doing this floodgate combo, so you will definitely just get wins by your opponent not being aware of what's about to happen. We've done 4 games going first, so we're going to do the last 2 as games going second. They are playing Thunder Dragon with Alistair. So they make a pretty wide board. And another thing is that people will eventually play around Spear Mode against Odeon, but not everyone will, especially on ladder. People are quite unaware. Like gradually, people will become aware of it, but even then, you have a Kaiju, right? So it's still pretty good. You can't play on a Kaiju, because to play around a Kaiju means just passing turn. But here, for example, they play into the Sphere mode, and we go, oh, look at that. Well, skill add Sphere mode, and then here, hold this, thank you, and then GG. Sphere mode cannot be targeted, but Conquistador doesn't target. It is simply a pop on the field, so we go send, summon, Conquistador, pop, and then that lines up very cleanly as 4k damage right there. And then for this 6th and final duel, I wanted to include an actual good game, because the other 5 were more so like demonstrations of a combo, or just how the deck grabs Fear Mode. It's quite hard to find good games with this deck, like an interactive back and forth match, but this game I think is quite good and is worth watching. So we're going to be doing Dark Magician. It's also worth mentioning that neither of us play perfectly in this match, but it still is quite a interesting game nonetheless. Go Rod into Circle, Circle, no, not Circle yet, Salvation into Soul, Circle into the Fusion spell, then Illusion to add Dark Magician, and then Secrets to fuse off into Fusion Monster, set 1 pass, and we can go skill to add the Kaiju. Then we're going to go ahead and banish the Temple here, which makes sense because by banishing Temple, it means that I can't do the skill turn 1. Or, sorry, I can't do the skill to place 2, I mean. Then, now, the misplay they make here is I go activate Cursed Eldland, and they go chain combination to negate the effect. Now, why this doesn't work is because this says negate the effect, not the activation. So you would have to wait for me to pay 8 and declare the effects on the field to actually do anything here. So because they didn't do that, I can just go, well, sure, that's all fine, you can do all these effects. And then in a new chain, in a separate chain, I can just search, because you didn't chain to the effect to search. So a slight misplay there from them, but that is at least, I guess, a nice way for me to tell you how to use your negations against Eldlich, or against Cursed Eldland, which is to not use things that negate the effect on the activation, but instead chain to the effect that searches, and that applies for all continuous cards with a similar effect. So they do have DD Crow though, and Crow is actually pretty good there too. A circle effect onto the trap. They chain the trap to tribute, which they don't need to do, but it's whatever. It means they get another name. But the set card they did not know about is IDP, which banishes the DMG from grave, and the trap has to summon the other monster. So because I banished DMG here, it cannot summon from grave. So IDP here gets crazy value. Go effect, draw 1, set 1 pass. Soul, bring back, banish Eldland, but I do have another one, so that is a pretty good exchange for me. Send off Soul, Eldland, add back, summon. Then it's not quite game yet, but we are in a pretty good spot here. And they are in top deck mode. However, the skill lets them spawn the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and go Ultimate Fusion to fuse off the Blue Eyes and the BLS in the graveyard to make the Dragon Master Knight. So a pretty nice game with a good bit of back and forth. So they can't destroy it because of the protection, Conquistador pop, and then that is GG. But yeah, obviously this game wasn't played perfectly on their side. I think I probably played it not perfectly either, but this was definitely the best game I had playing this deck, so I wanted to include it in the video. Thank you for watching, hopefully you enjoyed and or found this video useful. Be sure to subscribe, have a perfectly balanced rest of your day, and adios. Want to be a pro at the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG? If you are one of the first 100 to use code BALANCE100, you get your first month in this Metafy community for free. As part of this, you get personalized deck building help with a 24/7 deck doctor, meta breakdown videos, Q&A, and more. You also get a big discount on any additional content. So all you have to do is make your account on Metafy, then when you go to subscribe to research a tier, just enter the promo code BALANCE100. But make haste, because this trial month only works for the first 100 people.